back to Wait, Did You Hear? My name is Dave, and I'm the host of this here podcast. And with me, as always, is
Hilary.
And this is going to be an interesting podcast, to be sure. This episode is entitled, Episode 3, I Got Fired, She Ate Spit. I mean, that's just a little bit of everything that's been going on the last week and what's going to be going on in the following week. So strap yourselves in. All right, so what happened in the last week? Well, you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Oh, I don't care. I
mean, obviously, the first part of the podcast is called I Got Fired, and the second one is She Ate Spit. So I guess the first part of that is, I got fired. I got fired from my job, which was on the day that I was going to quit. Just a little bit of a coinky dink, I should say. However, I mean, there's more to it than that, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that with the grievances part of the episode later on, okay? So just wait for that. Also, a couple of other things happened this last week that I did hear. I listened to a new podcast that CBC is doing. I forget what it's called, but you have a journalist who is interviewing Allison Mack after her time at NXIVM, and it's going through her perspective of the cult that she was in. This is the first time that she's been talking about it ever after she's been caught. So it's been an interesting thing. A lot of the stuff that I've heard, I've already heard, in general. But from her perspective, you kind of get to see how she was already, from a young age, basically just primed to be brainwashed. And I would also argue that she's still primed to be brainwashed if the right situation arises. A lot of people have also pointed out this week that she's also married to an ex, like Nazi or something like that. And ex is the opportune word. We shouldn't be making accusations based off of her cult status in the past. So basically, her husband is somebody who counsels others, which is very Allison Mack. The whole reason she joined NXIVM was that she wanted to counsel women. And she has also started a career path as a counselor as well. So this is like her entire being. But maybe she's going the proper channels. I don't know. So I did that. Also in the last week, I made some Chex Mix twice.
Yep.
Because I just made a second batch yesterday. It's good stuff. If you have the ability to do not get the bag stuff that you get from the store, follow the instructions on the back of the cereal. But you got to do it the oven method, the roasting method.
Yeah, the microwave method, it's just a little bit weird. I've done it before. It's concerning. Like, it smells like it's burning half the time. It never quite dries out.
I would imagine the texture's got to be wrong in some way.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. And the reason that you had all this stuff to make Chex Mix is our store had, at the end cap of the aisle, they're like, ooh, make some Chex Mix. And they had absolutely every single ingredient on that end cap.
And just a little fun fact for you, on the back of those cereal boxes, if you collect your receipt and you send it into them, they'll send you a free tin. A free tin.
Okay.
I'm just saying, it's been a long time since I've actually actively tried to win something from a back of a cereal box.
Well, yeah, that was all the rage when we were little.
That was all the... So I did it. I won't be able to tell you if I got anything until next year, because...
I really wish you wouldn't have done it.
Well, why? It's just a tin. It's just a tin.
It's just going to take up space. We don't need it.
Figure it out. And the last thing that I did this last week was that I finally got around to putting away the Halloween decorations that we had outside. We had a whole bunch. And, of course, the neighbors across the way, which we were kind of competing against with the Halloween decorations, they've already got Christmas stuff up.
Well, the joke's on them, because I don't decorate for Christmas.
Well, no, we do have the light.
Yeah, we have like a projector that is going to project snowflakes, which is not Christmas, that's just winter, so...
Ish.
Yeah.
Ish. No, there's a whole box. So when there's a whole box for the Halloween one, too, with a ton of slides.
Well, there might be more.
There might be a bunch of slides on this Christmas one, too, because there's no way that whole entire box is just going to be nothing.
Don't know.
All right, so, Hilary, what did you do this last week?
Well, because you got fired, I started applying for jobs to get like a part-time to kind of fill in the gaps. So that's fun.
Yeah.
I've got like 3 applications out right now. Aldi, Maurice's, and Marshall's.
And you've always had a lot better luck getting calls back. Even if you don't get the job, you usually have more of a communication between back and forth between you and the prospective job.
Well, I haven't heard anything yet, but I mean, I am qualified because I worked at Macy's for a couple of years, so working retail is not unheard of for me, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Also started Christmas shopping. Haven't bought anything, but I've got a bunch of stuff in my cart. I just have to hit the button.
Yeah, it's kind of early, but I feel like earlier is better than last second.
Yep.
And besides, like right around the corner is Black Friday, so
Yeah, that's kind of why I haven't pushed the button, is I'm just trying to see if anything kind of lowers in price.
yeah.
So
And so we both dealt with the dog whining in the last week.
yeah,
He stopped, but like what he was doing was yelping and whining and screeching, even when he wasn't doing anything, just sitting there, and he'd be like, "Ugh!" And we're like, what is wrong with you, dude? And for a while he stopped, and he's back at it now. So we're probably gonna have to take him to the vet.
Yep.
It's probably nothing good though, I'll tell you that much.
Oh no, never is.
Especially if you're whining when nothing's going on and you're not moving and it's just constant. But it's not constant because he'll walk around and not complain at all.
Yeah,
it's very confusing.
Not constant. I actually watched him really closely yesterday when he's sleeping and he stretches his legs out, because I think it is his leg.
You think it's back to his leg?
I think so. When he just stretches it, that's when he starts whining.
Is it his back or front?
Front, I'd say.
All right. That's what it was before. But I don't know. Because then I thought it was the ears, and then I don't know. So that's current mystery that we'll be having to deal with in the next week or so. And the final thing that you did last week, apparently, the second part of the title, is that you ate spit. So what was this all about?
So, about a couple months ago, I guess, our youngest son was getting a spoonful of peanut butter, and which is fine. I mean, have at it. And he comes back and he's like, "Oh, that peanut butter was good, and I got another spoonful." And I said, "Oh, did you get a new spoon?" "No, I just put the spoon I was eating off of right back in there." And I'm like, "Well, that's not how we do things. We get a clean spoon when we're going to get more peanut butter." So that jar of peanut butter is now yours, because...
What are you talking about? Oh, his. I'm
Yeah,
not talking about.
yeah.
I don't think you're talking to me. I don't even eat peanut butter.
No. I was told him that jar of peanut butter is now his exclusively, and he can do whatever he wants to that one. But the rest of the peanut butter, you need a clean spoon every time. Well, fast forward to like this past week, and I kind of forgot about that. And so I was making a peanut butter sandwich to take for my lunch at work. And as I'm driving to work, it kind of comes back to me, this whole peanut butter fiasco.
Oh, wait. Didn't he say something about...
Yep. And, well, long story short is I'm pretty sure I ate the contaminated peanut butter.
Was it slimy?
No, I mean, it tasted like peanut butter, but it was just kind of like...
Yep. So that's been our week. So here's the question of the day.
Riddle me this, what did you say? Oh, that's right, it's the question of the day.
So, in the last week, I think it was the last week and not the week before, but it's been talked about that Trump has proposed to introduce a 50-year mortgage plan for home buyers. What do you think about a 50-year mortgage? Do you think that is a good idea or a bad idea?
All right, let's say that most people buy their first home, in their late 20s? Actually, it's much later now.
I have
like,
an answer to that, but yeah.
Like late 20s, early 30s. 50 years? You're going to be like in your 70s or 80s. At that point, you have retired. You are on a fixed income. You won't be able to afford your mortgage payments.
Right. It'll be, I mean, heck, you could be dead, and it'll go on to your loved ones to cover it for you or something like that. I get where they're coming from, having it be a lower payment, but at the end of the day, by the time the house is done, you would have paid probably double the amount of the mortgage itself. Also,
in interest.
To answer your question on when people buy their homes, we bought our house relatively young because on average, in 2025, the average homeowner's age has steadily increased throughout both of our lives. And in 2025, the first-time homeowner average is 40. Okay. So you would be 90 by the time it's done. You'd be for sure dead, or you're just really lucky in life, but you would be paying out of your retirement income to your mortgage for a majority of your life. But here's another thing about that is, in order to avoid paying out of your retirement income towards your mortgage, you would have had to buy your house when you were 17, which is wholly unrealistic.
Right.
I mean, like I said, the homeowner's age has steadily increased over our entire lives. When we were babies, I think it was mid-20s or low 20s, something like that. But like, yeah, it has gone higher and higher and higher. And like I said, we were young when we
we were like 30, I guess.
Still young.
And if we hadn't bought our house when we bought it, like right now, if we were trying to buy a house, we would be priced out of the market.
And houses are now more expensive than ever, which is not helping the market at all. And so they're like, oh, we'll just make the payments lower by saying 50-year mortgage, which doesn't make sense overall.
But the other part of that is that you won't even be like building any equity in your home. Like all of your payments early on will be just interest payments. So you can't do anything. Like even if you tried to sell the house to get out of it, you'd get nothing back.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, in fact, you'd be in the hole, because if the property increases in value and you have no equity built in yet, you're going to end up like, I just don't know. I guess that's backwards. You might end up with a little bit of money, but not really. Yeah.
In order to sell your house, you would have to sell it a lot more expensive than it's worth, which I'm guessing is what's going on with the market right now and why everything is so much more expensive in real estate.
Yeah, I guess, but that's not going to help the real estate market, because if people have no equity in their house and they owe $100,000 on their house, and the house is worth $100,000 and they're trying to get $110,000 so that they can at least get something out of the purchase. I mean, how is that going to help the housing market?
See, if my house was worth $100,000, I'd be selling it for $200,000.
But that's
because I would pay down my $100,000, get rid of that debt that I owed, and then have another $100,000 to go.
But then nobody would buy it.
But yeah, that's the problem with the real estate market right now, and why everything's so expensive is because people are trying to get, bang for their buck and get what they're owed and blah blah blah, but it's just unrealistic overall because nobody can get a living wage, I guess, and they're trying to fake their way through it that way.
I get it. I mean, I get why they would propose it, but it is just completely, like, when you really start digging down to it, it's unrealistic.
And I think it's not an actual implemented thing. I think it was just something that was floated out there by the Trump administration. I think his advisors were like, that's probably not a good idea, sir. Well, overall, it'll hurt the consumer more than it'll help anybody. So that's the question of the day, which brings us to what's been going on this coming week, which we call the special event or special of the day.
It's the special of the day, the special of the freaking day.
So the whole week, there is another weekly holiday, I guess, or it's not even a holiday. It's, an observance type of week. So from now until the end of the week, we are observing Anti-Bullying Week, which, that's a good one. It's a good one to have. I think
except I don't think it works because both of our kids have complained about getting bullied at school.
And I was bullied in school as well. I think there should be an anti-bullying year, personally. And so, we should just actively be trying to work on that problem instead of having it be a week. But it should be, a constant thing that should be people should be vigilant about. But going on here, today is the 16th, which is National Fast Food Day.
Black.
That's it. It's a good day because you know what? Do you know the year when McDonald's stopped counting, when they would have their signs up front saying over however many served?
I didn't even know that they did that.
Yeah, of course. It was famous for, over 10 billion served or whatever.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Like, it was always up there, like, over 99 million served, over a billion served, over whatever. And so they stopped doing that in 1994. Or they stopped counting it. I think they still have it on their signs as over, however many served, but they just stopped counting, I think, after 99 billion in 1994. Fun fact. I can't believe you've never heard that before. That was like...
Okay,
McDonald's was known for that.
I did not grow up in a household where we ate out a lot. It was very, very rare.
Sure, but if you drove around town, you would see signs.
Why would I? Okay, I would have been like 7 in 94, okay? I wasn't reading signs.
Everybody's reading signs. However, Monday, tomorrow, November 17th, is National Homemade Bread Day. We should make some bread.
Well, that will be on you. I have to work.
Well, yeah, but we do make bread from time to time. I'd say that we make more dough than bread, so if we were going to make pizza or pie or something to that degree.
Like the last bread that we made were those rolls that I did last weekend.
Yeah, that's bread.
And those are in the
rolls
freezer.
Are bread.
Yeah, they're in their freezer still.
Yeah. And then Tuesday, the 18th, is International Occult Day. Also, it's for those of you that are married to a Scorpio, it is Married to a Scorpio Support Day.
Why do they need support if they're married to a Scorpio? Like, what's wrong with them? Apparently,
they're the high maintenance, apparently. And then it's also Mickey Mouse's birthday. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. Wednesday, International Men's Day. Okay, that one's for me. And National Play Monopoly Day.
Every day Men's Day? Like, honestly.
No, there's a Women's Day somewhere in the year.
Yeah, but like it's always fight against the patriarchy. So every day is Men's Day. That's the problem.
That's not a problem. Anyways,
it is a problem.
But the next day after that is National Child's Day.
Okay.
Also, it's Joe Biden's birthday on Thursday, and Friday this is good because we're coming into Thanksgiving the following week. Was National Stuffing Day. Right? That's a good one. And World Vasectomy Day.
No, okay.
That's a really important day for the whole world to get a vasectomy. And I didn't really see any special kind of holiday for Saturday, but it was Jamie Lee Curtis's birthday on Saturday.
Jamie Lee Curtis is awesome.
All right.
She is.
I like her.
She is awesome.
I like her.
I aspire to be as cool as she is one day.
She's especially cooler in her old age.
I know. I think she's always been cool. I just don't think people notice.
Well, I like her in Halloween, and then I like her in Freaky Friday.
And you're not going to mention her in The Bear? Oh my god.
Well, yeah. Well, it's always a second thought to me with The Bear.
Oh, it's the first thing I think of because she's incredible.
If I was going to say the third thing after Freaky Friday, I would say her, like, diarrhea commercials or whatever.
You'll play commercials. Those are like keep yourself regular commercials. That's different.
Oh, I don't know. I always just connect it to diarrhea for some reason.
No, it's those Activia commercials. It's to keep you regular. Which I mean, some people who eat that do get diarrhea, I guess. But I don't know.
That's probably why I'm thinking of it. I don't know. But those were the special things going on in this following week for those of you that like to stay with the Joneses, I don't know, the holidays. But I guess we'll just move on to the recipe of the week.
Who's that cooking? My hunger's peaked. Holy crap, it's the recipe of the week.
And this week was cashew chicken.
Yep.
So this, you said, was the first time we've made cashew chicken.
I think so. I mean,
we've had it a lot in like other like restaurants. Like,
yeah, because it's like a Asian
cuisine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or at least they serve it at Asian restaurants. Maybe it's an Americanized. I have no idea. I guess I didn't look into it that
There's
closely.
probably an Americanized version of something that is normally made differently than how Americans might make it. But I mean, you got your soy sauce in there.
Yep.
Lots of chicken, lots of cashews. I feel like there are so many cashews.
Remember that like it was an 8.5 ounce bag of cashews and you only needed a cup. But then when I measured out a cup, there was only like a little bit left, and I'm just like, screw it, and I put them
threw in the rest. Yeah, I mean, so there's chicken broth, there's garlic, and it says 3 cloves garlic on our recipe, which you can find on the episode description. as well as our Facebook page. But whenever we run into a recipe that has garlic, we basically double it.
Because garlic's awesome.
Garlic's awesome. So it said 3 cloves of minced garlic. I'm pretty sure I had at least 6 cloves in there, if not a small one added too, kind of a thing. Brown sugar, hoisin sauce, sesame oil, and it also says vegetable oil.
That was to cook the chicken, so we're a little bit lazy, and we don't defrost our chicken.
We should. We really should. I think that would make a lot of difference if we were to not just cook it frozen, which is what we do.
Yeah, we cook it frozen in the oven versus defrosting it and chopping it up and doing it in a frying pan. To be fair,
I mean, cooking it frozen in the oven works. It just dries it out a lot. And I think that if we were to actually deal with it, which I get, like if you're dealing with a thawed, fresh chicken breast, it's slimy and gross and whatever, and I don't want to really deal with it either. But I do think that if you did, it would taste better all around.
Oh, see, I just cook it in the oven like that because I'm lazy.
Well,
I don't want to think 2 days out and be like, I should defrost the chicken.
I would probably think couple days out. Like I want to do that. I also like for recipes where you're supposed to marinate it, like actually marinate. Like we've never marinated. I've done
it once or twice
because like when we usually quote unquote marinate, we throw it in the oven with the sauce or whatever on top and just wish for the best. Which it's not marinated. It has sauce on the top of it, and then inside is nothing.
Well, yeah, but marinating it doesn't get it in the inside.
It soaks it up like a sponge.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true, but okay.
And some people, like, also marinate it after slitting the inside, like, just kind of cutting it a little bit, so it does get inside a little bit better. But that's besides the point. This is not a marinated one, but it was a good dish, I think. I liked it. I like a lot of Asian style dishes.
Yeah, pretty much if it has soy sauce in it, you're happy.
Yeah, I like soy sauce. I wouldn't say I like soy sauce on its own.
No, but any type of sauce that has soy sauce in it.
If the soy sauce is part of the ingredient list, I'm usually game, and the same goes here. I like a lot of dishes, for instance, that have soy sauce, and dishes that have, like, cooked wine in it, and that's usually a good sign of a good dish. But this was okay. Probably not my favorite in the world, but I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Now, that's the recipe of the week. So, the book of the week.
It's the book of the week. Yeah!
This week, it's just me. I think for the most part, we're going to kind of go back and forth with this so that we give each other a couple of weeks to read. Because sometimes with books, it takes a long time to get through something. This week is a book that I've already read twice before. This was my third time reading it. And this was Harry Potter, the first book. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone, if you're reading it in the Americas.
They felt the need to change the title.
And it's not just that. Like, if you go through and you actually read it, they change things here and there. Like, instead of post, it's mail, and just little things here and there. Where I'm like, you think that we're either that cranky about books needing to be Americanized that you have to change it like that?
I think they just think that we're so stupid that we don't know what those things are. But, like, the joke's on them. I have read so many British books that I understand, like, the different slang terms for things.
Not everybody does, though, to be fair. However, this version was the reason why I read it this time. And last time I read this, by the way, I was reading it to Liam. And that was last year. That was summer of last year. So it's been a little bit over a year since I last read The Philosopher's Stone. We all know what the story is. You know, obviously it's Harry Potter learns he's a wizard. And he has to figure out what the heck a Philosopher's Stone is. And go through a bunch of puzzles to get to it before Voldemort does and all that. We've all read it or seen the movie even. It's almost like I can recite it at this point because I've seen the movie 1,000 times and now I've read the book 3 times. But the reason why I read this one this time is because it's a new version of it. This is the audiobook, the full cast audiobook version, which was really a radio play because there was a ton of actors in it and a ton of sound effects, music, and even spatial audio. So you'll hear, well, if you're listening, especially with headphones, you'll hear one person walk from the left to the right, and you'll hear it in your headphones walking left to right, instead of them just reading lines. And so it really was like a play. It was like a 8.5 hour long movie. And you know how at the end of audiobooks, there's credits where it's like, okay, this was read to you by this person, this person, this person, the sound design was this person, the director was this person. That part of the audiobook was just as long as the credits of a movie. It was extremely a lot of work went into this audiobook alone. I would say it's probably the best version of the book that I can think of.
All right, well, I'm going to argue here. And you listen to an audiobook. That's not the same as reading a book.
A lot of people would disagree with that.
You use different parts of the brain.
Except I also read along with it.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I opened the book, and that's how I was listening to a lot of this audiobook. So I was reading along because I have the books on Kindle, and I was going along with it. And I was like, because the Kindle is the Americanized version.
Right.
And so when I was listening, it was the British version, and I could see every single time they would make a change in the American version. And there's quite a few. But yeah, I mean, I do like this version. The book that I'm reading for, the next time that I talk about Book of the Week is also a full cast version, except it is not anything with music or sound effects or anything. It literally is a bunch of people just reading lines. Like, it might be like, and then he said, and then the guy says his line, but it's not like acting. This is acting. So it was different. Like, I appreciate all the work that they went into, and I think these audiobook renditions, they're coming out with a new version every single month until it's done. What they should have done is come out with a new version every other month, because if they did that, I think the whole series would be done right in time for the new HBO show.
Okay.
But instead, it's every month, and so it will be done a year, I think, before, or roughly a year before the HBO show comes out. So, yeah, that's interesting. I think that's also really interesting because the actors don't grow with the books. Like, the books came out over several years, so the actors would normally grow if they read their parts every year, just like the movies.
Right.
They might have different actors for the parts in each book. Like, here's younger Harry Potter, here's older Harry Potter type of a thing.
Do you really think that's necessary?
Yeah, I mean, because you're talking about at the end, is he basically a senior?
I don't know.
I mean, I think that's how it goes. He's basically, it's like middle school through high school is kind of what Hogwarts is. So at the end, he's like a senior, and this is a boy who's reading the lines. He's young. I think he's a little bit older than Daniel Radcliffe was in the first Harry Potter, so that he could read like maybe the first 3 books or something like that, and then they would go on from there. I don't know. But yeah, I think that if you are a fan of audiobooks, I think it's worthwhile. For me, I usually like to listen to audiobooks at a faster pace because, especially when I read alongside with it, with the actual book, it keeps my brain and my whatever in tandem. I don't feel like I'm reading too slow. But you can't do that with full cast audiobooks, especially with music and stuff. You have to read it at its normal pace, which will take a lot longer. So, yeah, it's good. I give it 5 out of 5. I mean, it's Harry Potter. I mean, what are you going to do? All right, so we're going on to the main section of the episode. Wait, did you hear?
Wait, did you hear?
Hear what, dear?
Did you hear? Did you hear? Now listen here.
This is the section of the show where we just kind of talk about what's been trending in news, whether you're talking about entertainment or what's going on with the government or what, in the world of food and stuff like that. So I guess the main one is that the shutdown is finally over. That happened over the last week. It was the longest government shutdown in the history of the country. 43 days. Fun fact, apart from it also being the longest shutdown in history, the second, third, and fourth longest shutdown in history also happened during the Trump presidency.
Imagine that.
Which I think is It's either where you point at irony or coincidence that prior to his own presidency, Trump said a government shutdown would be the responsibility and blame of the president himself. He said this in both 2011 and 2013.
And let me guess, now he does not feel that way.
Well, now it's Biden.
It's never his fault.
It's Biden's fault.
Oh,
I don't know about Biden,
yeah.
but definitely the Democrats, he says.
All right, yep.
It's the Democrats. They're not doing this.
Total sense. Yep.
So there's that. There's also the death of the penny. So after being a part of U.S. circulation for over 200 years, they have ended production on the penny, which was Wednesday of this week or whatever. And I mean, that's fine. I think that we have an overabundance of pennies. It doesn't mean that they'll stop charging people pennies. It doesn't mean that people will stop getting pennies as change. Obviously, you can still pay things with a 50-cent piece. And they stopped that like 20 years ago. And I think they started production of the 50-cent piece like a couple years back or something again. But it was out of circulation for 20 years. But you could still get the 50-cent piece. You could still pay with it. And it's going to be the same with the penny. So people are like, oh, it's dead. What were we supposed to just pay with nickels and dimes and stuff? No. It's just, people have so many pennies that they create like bathroom tiled floors that are all pennies, you know?
Yeah, I think that's weird.
Yeah, well, they do though, and it's like it's a choice. It's a choice. I don't think I would make it myself, but they do it, and it's just because there's just so many. In the world of food, we have a Coffee Mate Creamer. Okay, they have just launched their own Harry Potter butterbeer creamer. Now, we've done coffee creamers a lot. I think I like them more than you do. In general, I would be down to trying it, but it's just gonna be...
It's just butterscotch.
It's just gonna be butterscotch, really. Yeah.
And I don't like the flavor of
butterscotch. They had another... Didn't they have another Harry Potter one this year?
They have a sugar-free one, which actually, I don't remember what the flavor is, but it sounds better to me than the butterbeer one.
Okay, yeah. So, I might try it. I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. This past week, on November 13th, 3 days ago, was Red Cup Day at Starbucks. We usually would go to Starbucks on Red Cup Day to get our cups. We would get like one each at least.
Right.
And this is like I think the either third or fourth year that we would have been doing it, but this year we didn't do it.
That's true. Because
you don't like plastic cups.
That's true.
So
all the microplastics and whatnot.
Yeah, so it looked cool from what I saw. I feel like the last couple of years they gave us the same cup. Like there was nothing different really about it. And this year it kind of looked like they did have a different design. So I'm sad. Apparently next year it has come out that Wendy's is going to be closing hundreds of its stores next year.
Did you check to see if the one here?
No, I don't think it's said which locations. However, there's like close to 300 stores that they're closing. And the last time that they did something like that, it wasn't Wendy's, it was Burger King. And our Burger King at our town did close. So I feel like if our town is going to be among one of the few that closes, we're going to have to get our like Baconators and stuff before it's gone forever.
Okay. Well, I don't really care that much if it closes, other than the fact that the kids will lose their mind. That's one of their
safe. This is one of their safe places that they will definitely eat from. I would be sad. I think I would I miss Burger King a lot, but now that I'm older and Burger King, I don't know. It definitely bloats me when I have Burger King when we go out and we have it. I like it, but it definitely bloats me a lot faster than any other fast food place. Wendy's, however, I really like, especially the Baconator. So if ours closes, I'm going to be sad. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. I don't think they've announced which ones are closing or not. For McDonald's, the McRib is back, but only at select restaurants for now. I have checked. It is not here in Alpena.
Okay. Do you enjoy that particular?
I don't think I've actually had a McRib. I might have had a McRib.
Then why are you checking on it?
I feel like I might have had it once. And I want to say that, you know, those frozen like TV dinner things that might have like the fake rib thing.
Okay.
I want to say that that's basically what a McRib is, just with like a bun. And those are fine, but it's not ribs. I don't think I've actually had real ribs. I don't think. Martha Stewart has revealed her secret to the juiciest Thanksgiving turkey ever. Okay, what's the trick?
Not really, but all right.
Well, she covers her cheesecloth, or in case of some other people, parchment paper. She covers it in butter, and she covers the parchment over the turkey and cooks it like that. And then at the last 30 minutes, she takes that off and lets it cook and finalize. And that keeps it moist inside, gets the top all nice and brown and stuff. Apparently, This is a trade secret that Martha's kept for several years, and she's finally revealed.
I'm just going to take her word for it because I'm not doing that.
Well, we don't cook a whole turkey.
That's true. We don't.
We don't cook.
We do those like butterball, just the breast.
Yeah, because we're a small family, and I want to say there's a lot of people in our town because we live. I don't know if it's because of where we live or what, but there's a lot of people that do the deep frying outside.
Yeah.
And it takes only a few minutes or whatever because it's deep frying it. But it's like incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, that it freaks me out.
Because people have blown up their houses because they've done it wrong and they've died and stuff. So it's an incredibly dangerous thing, but people do that here. I don't know. We've never done it.
I'm never going to do it.
In the world of money, I don't know where else to put this, but somebody in Georgia has won the Mega Millions, $980 million jackpot.
Okay, what would you do with that kind of money?
I'd get a Baconator.
Oh my God, I'd pay off the house, and I would never, ever go back to my job.
The house would have to be paid off for sure. And if you, I don't even know how much money you get after all the taxes are taken out of it, but if you put it into some kind of savings account, you should be able. I don't know, because
you live off the interest.
There's two different ways, because a lot of people just like the lump sum, and that's where they take away most of the taxes.
Yeah.
And then there's the one where they can pay you over time. I feel like I would do the pay over time, because what would that be? It would still be a lot every single payment.
Either way, I mean, I'd never work again. I mean, I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, I like my job. I'd still keep going."
Yeah.
I hate my job. I hate it.
Retire. A lot of people blow through that money though, and they get it. And they're just they blow through it in a weekend, and it's like, how do you do that?
Because all of the things that are expensive and extravagant, they buy them.
Yeah,
they buy the yacht, they buy the mansion.
Somebody, the last time I heard about somebody blowing through the money was they bought a mansion, and then they did drugs and stuff like that, and they had the car, the mansion, and the drugs, and then they were gone. The money was just gone.
That's just silly. I don't think that I would really change my life that much. I just think that I would live off the interest and then just not work, because I can't think of a single job where I would want to keep working at if I had infinite money.
Well, that's just it. And some people are just absolutely lousy and they hate life unless they're busy and unless they're working. I've never really personally understood that, but to each their own, I guess. So, we also had some stuff in the world of entertainment. We had a trailer for Super Mario Galaxy, which is the sequel to the Super Mario World with Chris Pratt.
I didn't even know they were making another one of those movies.
And, it's got Jack Black and all that, and same idea, except now they're going, I don't know, into space or something. I'm not sure. I thought that the first movie was okay, but it wasn't really my thing. I mean, I feel like the real reason it got a sequel was probably that Princess Peach song. They just had to play it over and over again. Freaking Jack Black.
Did he write it?
He might have. I don't know exactly.
Because I don't know. He is so underrated as he's awesome.
Well, I mean, it was two things. I mean, they had the Princess Peach song, and then the Minecraft song.
Yeah, because he is so underrated.
Steve's Lava Chicken.
He's comedic gold.
Yeah. So there's a trailer of that. There's also a teaser trailer that came out for The Devil Wears Prada 2, and it's a teaser trailer. It doesn't really show anything except, your two main characters, Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep, going into an elevator. Meryl Streep says, took you long enough. And then Anne Hathaway smirks, and it says Devil Wears Prada 2. And I'm, all right.
I don't
fully understand why it needed to have a sequel in the first place. I know it's kind of a beloved movie for some reason. I think it's an okay movie.
I live it every day.
Are we supposed to think that Anne Hathaway is going to be the new Meryl Streep?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Like, the movie's fine. It's not anything that I really ever thought was like, oh, we have a continuation in the story. We need it. I don't know.
There was no continuation needed, but all right.
Talk about not needing a continuation. We also have a teaser trailer for Toy Story 5.
And I know you love that whole
I love Toy Story
franchise. I never got into it. I didn't even like the first one.
When it comes down to Pixar's entire history, Toy Story 1 was my favorite movie out of their roster until Inside Out came around. And then Inside Out beat it. But a lot of people love Toy Story 3 over Toy Story 1. And then Toy Story 4 was another movie that had a decent final story, but not as good as the Toy Story 3 did. Except I hated Toy Story 4 for how they showed Buzz. Buzz was an idiot. He couldn't make any decisions for himself, where he used the buttons on his things, where he's like, oh, what do I do? And he uses the buttons on his chest as a form of, like, a magic 8-ball or something, where he make all of his decisions. He was just an idiot. And I was like, that's so unlike him. At the end of Toy Story 4, Woody left the gang. He went to join Bo Peep at the circus, and the rest of the toys left. That was the end. And he's in this trailer with the rest of the toys again, as if nothing happened. And if you read the statements from the creator of this movie, it's like, oh, they needed his help when this new toy comes across that's threatening the rest of them or whatever, which is very Toy Story, and Woody would for sure help his friends. It would be very unlike Woody not to. I get it. But it still, like, leave him be. Like, he had his story. He's gone. Somebody else. There's so many characters, so many toys. Have somebody else have their day. I believe this story will be Jessie's, the cowgirl, her main story. So let her have her day. Like, leave Woody out of it is my thing. I get that Tom Hanks is like this thing, but, like, leave him out of it. He's done. So that's just kind of a pet peeve. Also, just the fact that Toy Story 5 didn't really even need to be made. They're really just milking it at this point. But I do understand it. They're like, Toy Story 5, tablet, right? The kids' new toys right now is not action figures. It's not dolls. It's tablets.
Well, look at our kids. They barely touch any of their toys except their tablets. Yeah. Even when you make it so that they can only have it for a couple hours, they would rather just sit there and complain, oh, I don't have my tablet, rather than play with actual toys.
They forget they have toys. And then toys get thrown in the garbage eventually. They don't even know because it's like, whatever. Though if they see you throwing out the toy,
they'll flip
that's
out.
when they're like, oh, hey, that's mine. Yeah, when's the last time you touched it? When you got it on Christmas like 5 years ago was the last time you touched it? All right, anyways. James Vanderbeek from Dawson's Creek. We all know he has cancer, right? Mm-hmm. And he's been selling his memorability from Dawson's Creek to help finance his cancer treatment.
Yeah, I did see that. And again, that's just kind of goes back into, why do you have to sell stuff to pay for your cancer treatment? I
mean, yeah, he's an actor, and he's been in more things than Dawson's Creek.
Well, but the thing is, it's like, it shouldn't just be a thing. Healthcare is a big problem right now, and you're talking about somebody who is the rich and famous can't even afford it? How do you expect,
that's
like,
crazy.
the average person?
That's crazy. That is crazy. But he's like, I think the thing that he said was that, I've collected these things over the years and I don't really have any need for them. I was just kind of holding on to them until maybe there would be a time where I needed them for something, and this seemed like a good thing as any, really. And I'm like, I guess if you want to look at it that way. But yeah, he's been in other things. Yeah. The first thing that comes to my mind is the Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. He was in that.
Well, that's because you really like that. Most people didn't even know
but
that
he's
existed.
Been in other things. He's been
Varsity Blues. He was in that movie.
I didn't see it.
Really?
Nope.
How do you not see that? That's a classic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see it. So there's that. There's Tom Felton, who played... So it's another Harry Potter thing today. So the theme of this episode seems to be Harry Potter, but Tom Felton has made his debut on Broadway. In the show Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, he's reprising his role as Draco Malfoy. There's videos of this that have been circulating and trending a lot over my social media feeds where he's just, everybody's just cheering and they're like disrupting the freaking play, in my opinion.
Yeah, that is kind of tacky.
Like,
whatever.
he's just standing there waiting for them to stop clapping so he can say his next line. It's funny, though. But it's I still don't really know anything about the Cursed Child. Don't know anything about it. But the main thing, I guess, when it comes down to, I guess, like, yeah, every week we're talking about a TV show. Then Netflix has a new show out there called The Beast in Me. It was released Thursday, so it's only been out for really a couple of days. It has 8 episodes, each basically an hour long. It stars Claire Danes from Homeland, Matthew Rhys from The Americans. It is made by the same team that made Homeland in 24, and The Guardian has called it instantly top-tier TV. So this is a show that is ultimately about an author who's played by Claire Danes, who has not written anything in years. The death of her son kind of halted her career. And in the middle of her trying to write her next book and failing miserably, a new neighbor moves in. This is Matthew Rhys, and this is a celebrity. This is a guy that has been accused of murdering his wife, but it was never proven because the body was never found. But he's definitely a weird guy. He is ultimately trying to create a jogging path in the community, and he needs everybody in town to sign off on it. But Claire Danes' character is the one apparently refusing to budge on this. So why do you think he's so gung-ho about the jogging path? Do you think he just likes to jog for sure? Just likes renovation? I mean, he is a real estate kind of guy, I think. But the whole not taking no for an answer and his insisting on doing this jogging path makes me think that there's more at play. That he's doing it for a specific reason.
Maybe to bury a body during construction. Who knows?
Well, it's possible. So when watching the show, maybe it's just me, but I have been getting a lot of Silence of the Lambs vibes.
See, I don't. I really don't.
This guy is conniving. He is manipulative. He will only talk to the one girl above all else. And honestly, if the show turns out to be he's a cannibal, I'm going to scream. But like in this last episode that we watched, which was only the second episode, we've only seen 2 episodes. His new wife brings over Claire Danes a pie, and then they really focus in on this pie. And then the last part of the episode is her just eating the pie. I'm like, what's in the pie? And I want to say it's this kid who went missing as well, and we're like, well, he's dead. And then they're feeding the kid to Claire Danes.
It's an apple pie. How do you, like, sneak in a person into an apple pie? That doesn't even make sense.
I don't know. With lots of apple spices.
No.
It's definitely a slow burn type of show. The first episode really does a great job, I think, with the overall vibe, which is it's dark, it's mysterious, and it's got a lot of trauma going on with it, which is perfect for Claire Danes because that's basically everything that she's ever done in her career has been showcasing emotion, crying, and just looking traumatized. She does that a lot in Homeland, and she's doing it a lot in this show as well. But yeah, I like it. I once we were done with the second episode, I wanted to keep watching and watch the third episode because I think it has been picking up a little bit.
I don't know. I find it just predictable.
Okay, if it's predictable, what happens?
What happens is obviously he's a psychopath killing people, and she'll prove it, or she'll get murdered herself.
Well, it very seems to be clean going that way. It could be a red herring though, and like I said, the boy went missing after she like passed out and everything, and so there's always a possibility that she's the psycho.
But even then, it's still a cliche, though. Because if you're doing, like, multiple personalities or a dissociative type disorder, I mean, that's still a cliche. I have read and watched so many thrillers and psychological thrillers at this point that there's nothing that can shock me. So maybe it's just me being jaded, but I don't find this that interesting.
I agree, but you're looking in the wrong spots because the stuff that surprises you is more of the independent crowds and stuff like that. Independent movies and even some TV shows, though I haven't seen a lot of indie TV shows, do a very good job at being original, being different. This is a big show right now, so it's probably in the same ballpark of cliches. I mean,
which is fine, and I'm not saying that they don't execute it very well. Because that scene where he's eating the chicken, like, that's grotesque. It made me want to vomit.
Yeah, it's just him eating chicken, to be honest with you. That's all it is. But, like, it's like, real close up.
The sounds of,
the squishing sounds, real close to his mouth as he's being really messy eating it. He's eating with his fingers, so he's getting messes all over his fingers. It reminded me a little bit, like, again, of Hannibal, but like the TV show. Yeah. The TV show was really disgusting when it came down to food, for obvious reasons. And that's why, another reason why it reminds me of Hannibal.
It reminds me more of Dexter, to be honest.
Dexter had some of that. Not a lot. A lot of it is in the theme song.
Well, and that's probably why. But
yeah, the theme song,
like,
Dexter.
it was taking the theme song took very mundane things and made them just grotesque. And, like, that's why that scene just made me like, ooh, that's kind of gross. Which is attributed to his acting ability and also, like,
Matthew
sound.
Rhys is very good.
Oh, yeah, he is.
I've seen him in a number of things, and I swear he's different in every show or movie that I've seen him in.
Yeah, because the first time that I ever saw him was in Brothers and Sisters, which was an ABC drama show. Oh, boy, was it dramatic. I loved it. It had Sally Fields. Okay. It had, Kalinda Flockhart, is that her name?
Yeah.
Calista. And it had some other people too, but it was so good and it was so dramatic. And that's the first time that I saw him. And he was the brother that was gay.
Okay.
And in fact, I thought he probably was gay in real life, but obviously that's not the case because he's married to Kerry Russell.
Right.
But yeah, he was very different in that than he was in the Americans, and he's different in this than he was in the Americans. They're similar.
I mean, in the Americans, he's Russian, right?
He's a Russian spy.
Yep. But he has an American accent because he's a spy.
Well, yeah, he's totally integrated. So, like, you get those moments where he's, like, really cold and calculated and everything because he's doing his job. But you also get him acting like just the normal guy. So he has got a really good range.
In this one, he's got, like, a really high-pitched, almost nasally kind of demeanor, accent, voice, whatever.
Which you wouldn't think was weird if you saw him in Brothers and Sisters.
Did he have that too?
Yeah, like, to me, I don't see anything weird with his voice. That's just his voice.
He had a deeper, more mature one in The Americans, I want to say. And I would also say the movie that he was in about Mr. Rogers as well was similar to The Americans, but he was just an American, like, journalist or whatever, and he just was normal. So, yeah. So, I think it's a good show. I'm very curious to see what they do with it. But that brings us to Grievances and Gratitude.
Gripes and thanks, hand in hand. Life's a mess, but ain't it grand? Don't give me that attitude. It's grievances and gratitude.
This is probably more me than you. So, going back to the job that I lost. Yes, I lost a job. I got fired. And it's not really losing it, which is the grievance. That was fine. I was going to literally quit the day, like I said. It's the why I was fired. So, I was a cleaner, right? And there was a brand new account that just showed up. It was a church. I was supposed to clean the church. And unlike a lot of the places that I was contracted to clean, they did a lot of things different. They had different supplies. They had different rules. They didn't have a water line specified for mopping, for instance, because whenever you would go to one of these places, you would fill the mop bucket up with water, and then you would dump it down their, base at the floor where it was specified. Here, you would have to pick up the mop bucket, walk it up the stairs, and open the door, and dump it out outside, which was very strange. It's not the most effective way to do things. And they also had weird personal requests that none of the other places that I had to clean made. It was weird, but it was something that I did. For instance, I was specifically told multiple times when they trained me for this job to only mop once a month. I thought it was nuts. They thought it was nuts. Everybody thought it was nuts. They had me vacuuming the hard tiled floor in the kitchen/cafeteria area, which really you should have probably mopped every time you were there, but it was very specific in the rules. Mop monthly. So I did. I mean, everybody who did the account, at the end it was just me who did the account, but in the beginning there was 3 of us. We all thought it was crazy, and we all kind of knew that they would eventually complain at some point, and they did, and I was the fall guy for this specific thing, and I was fired promptly thereafter. Now, we have a running theory that it wasn't really about that. It was just that the job couldn't fire me because I was on strike for a different account, but they were waiting for the next flaw to pop up, however big or small. And in this instance, they said, I asked them, do you want to take me off the account? And they're like, if you could just, look closer at their complaints and do a better job next time, that's all we want. I'm like, okay. But it was only a couple days later, they were like, termination letter. So, but it was stupid at the end of the day because I was really only working 1 day a week. It took me 2 hours to clean the place, and it was a 40-mile round trip every single time. It wasn't worth it. And that was my decision to leave at the end of the day. But yeah, that's my grievance of the week. And then your grievance is?
My grievance is you do not replace the trash bag and the bathroom trash. You just, when you remove the trash from the bathroom, you take it out and then you don't replace the bag. And so then it's just a trash can by itself, and then the kids throw their nasty trash in there, and then the next time I clean the bathroom, I have to scrub out the trash can because of all the gross things that are just floating in there without a bag, keeping it from the can itself.
That's fair. But at work, I did change the bags.
Well, then maybe just remember that around here.
Some people don't even use bags for their, their small trash bins in the bathroom.
Yeah, but that's gross.
They just dump it.
Trash, that's gross.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's fine. What about gratitude? You got gratitude?
No, this week absolutely sucked. 100%. Between the dog and my job and your job and having to apply for second jobs. It's
not been the greatest week, but I will say that my gratitude is the podcast itself, because you had mentioned that if you get a second job, you wouldn't be able to continue on with the podcast.
That's true.
It would have to be me alone.
Well, have fun with that.
I don't know. But I appreciate the podcast because I like having conversations with you in general. And before the podcast, I have not been current with what's been going on. I would be like, oh, did you hear about such and such? And you'd be like, yeah, that happened last month.
Well, yeah, you were so bad. Oh my God.
But this has been like me if 30, 40 years ago, you'd have your old folks sitting there reading their newspapers and reading about what's been going on in the world, or watching the news even. And this isn't my news. This is talking about what's been trending and talking about it. That's been what's been going on with me. So I have appreciation and gratitude for the podcast because I think it's fun, and even if it's just for us, I think it's cool because it's just talking about what's been going on. But that's the grievances and the gratitude, which brings us to kind of the last segment of the show. This is on Hilary. Last week we did 20 questions.
You failed miserably.
I failed miserably because you did a lot of maybe, I don't know, shouldn't be. I don't got.
Well, because those questions were hard. All right, you shouldn't do these things, but I'm not going to say that nobody does.
All right. Anyways, so, but this is the game or surprise segment of the show. So I'm going to pause this so that you can get whatever it is that you need ready, and then we will return in a minute. We'll be right back. And we are back. All right. So what do we got?
So you mentioned the Grammys and everything, and we kind of talked about how we don't know anything about modern music. So I thought it'd be fun to test you.
Well,
so I have the top 10 songs from the Billboard Top 100.
Yep.
And I'm going to play you just a little snippet of the top 10.
Yep.
And see if you can even guess the artist. I'm not going to make you guess the title of the song or anything else. Just the artist. Let's just see if you can do it.
Probably not. I'm really bad at music. I don't know music very well, and I don't really know the artists very well these days, so
I'm gonna predict that you're gonna get
0
1 right, and it's number 10, and I know for sure that you're gonna get it before anything. Like, you're just going to know it automatically.
Okay.
But that's just because it's a song that's popular again, but it's an older song.
Okay.
Okay? So let's see if this is going to work.
Thriller.
Yep.
Why is Thriller on there?
I think it's because the biopic coming out.
Biopic, yeah.
Whatever.
His movie, Michael?
Yeah, I think that's why. But it's number 10.
Okay.
So that's the one that I thought that you would get.
Okay.
And see, I said you'd
Well,
get it
look at that.
immediately. Like,
Yeah, my
nothing
goodness.
even...
Because, I mean, I've listened to that song about a million times in my life. I know the dance to it. All right.
All right. So this is number 9. There's no way you're going to get it.
Probably not. Jelly Roll.
Oh, that is I Got Better by Morgan Wallen. I don't know who that is.
I don't know. I would have never gotten that in a million years. All right.
I'm aware.
And if any of them are country, I'm just going to be Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll.
Do you even know a Jelly Roll song?
No, I'm pretty sure he's country, right?
I have no idea because he looks like a rapper.
He looks like a rapper, but he sings country, I think.
All right. So
Keep going.
this is number 8.
Yep.
Never gonna get this either, but okay.
Nelly.
Oh my god, Nelly hasn't come out with a new song in like 20 years. This is Mutt by Leon Thomas.
Mutt by what? By
Leon
Thomas. I don't know who Leon Thomas is. All right.
Yep.
Keep on going.
Okay. So number 7. Let's see how you do with this.
Beyonce.
So this is Folded by Kalani. I don't know who that is.
Who's
either.
Kalani?
I have no idea.
This is stupid.
Well, this is the top 10.
All right.
And we're just getting higher and higher.
All right.
All right.
More and
let's
more
see if
popular.
You could know this one, I guess.
All right. J-Lo.
Okay. I haven't even played the song.
Bruno Mars.
What? That is Daisies by Justin Bieber.
That was Justin Bieber. Okay.
That was Justin Bieber.
That's right, because Justin Bieber has a song, I think, with Bruno Mars, right? And I can't tell them apart when they do that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. This is number 5.
Beyonce.
Nope. That is Olivia Dean. Man I Need.
Olivia. Never heard that.
I have never heard of her either, but you have heard of this person. Whether or not you can recognize the voice,
All right.
I do not know. But I
Hit
guess
me.
we'll find out.
Taylor Swift.
It is.
All right.
That was Opalite by Taylor Swift, number 4.
I've never heard the song, but yeah, sure.
You're not going to know this one because I don't know who this is either. And I know more about music than you do. Your face right now.
I ain't got nothing for that one.
That is Ordinary by Alex Warren.
Yep. I don't know who that is.
Okay, so that was number 3. So now we're going to number 2. I'll be disappointed if you don't know this one.
Oh, well, you're probably going to be disappointed then.
The kids listen to it.
It's the K-pop.
Yes. Okay.
But, like, I don't know the actual artist.
It's the K-pop
It's
Demon
just
Hunters.
K-pop. Okay, we're just going to go with that, K-pop.
Yeah, the kids would be so disappointed because, like, Finn, our youngest son, knows every word to this damn song. He watches the movie and you can hear him singing along the whole thing. It's a little scary.
Scary.
All right. And the number 1 song this week is...
Okay, so I was expecting Bad Bunny
Nope.
somewhere,
Nope.
but that was not Bad Bunny.
Nope.
Is that Taylor Swift again?
It is Taylor Swift again.
Okay.
She has 2 in the top 10. That was The Fate of Ophelia by Taylor Swift.
Okay. So, I got what, 4?
You got both Taylor Swift's, Thriller, and then, you got 4.
I got 4. All
So
right.
that's good. I figured you'd only get Thriller, to be honest. And
I'm surprised that I got Taylor Swift because for the most part, I think that she sounds like anybody else. However, because she sounds like anybody else, she's the first person that pops up in mind versus them all. So if I'm
any
gonna,
girl, you're
yeah.
like Beyonce or Taylor Swift.
Yeah. So Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, if it was gonna be any girl, I mean, it's a little bit stereotypical, but it is pretty accurate. I'm surprised that Beyonce's not on there.
She doesn't have anything.
I know
right
that
now.
Lady Gaga could have been on there,
She could have been, but
she wasn't. And Bad Bunny should have been on there because he's got the album of the year nominee.
Well, he's probably in the top 100. Like all of these people that you're talking about are probably in the top 100. This is the top 10
of the week.
So you remember TRL? They used to just kind of like, oh, who's in the top spot? Like it would just kind of flip flop all the time.
Yeah.
But Taylor Swift's almost always number one.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Number one. Meh.
It's hard for.
I'm surprised. I'm just surprised that Thriller's on there. It could be any Michael Jackson song, technically.
Well, I don't.
I mean,
really
I understand
know why.
that we just went through Halloween, so maybe it's pushed all the way down from Halloween.
It could have, but I mean, I was surprised to see that too. But with the news about the new movie and stuff coming out, I wasn't totally surprised. But
yeah, if you watch the trailer, you can see that Jafar Jackson. It does look like he recreates a lot of the Michael Jackson staple moments, including the Thriller music video.
Yeah.
So.
And I really don't think I would have done much better than you, to be honest. I might have gotten Justin Bieber. Might have.
Yeah.
And so I might have gotten 5.
So, yeah. So the Justin Bieber one, now that once you said that, I'm like, okay, I hear him now.
Yeah.
But, I do believe he has a song with Bruno Mars. And that song, I think when I listen to it, I can't tell them apart.
Okay.
I mean, he also has a song with Ed Sheeran.
He does, yeah. And Kid Leroy. And
I can tell him apart with Ed Sheeran. But, yeah.
Well, he uses a lot of auto-tune, so sometimes that's hard to tell because it's I don't know, sounds like everybody.
Well, true enough. Anyways, so that was this week's Wait, Did You Hear? Next week is going to be the week where we're probably going to be talking a little bit about Thanksgiving. And that's also going to be the week we don't know if you're going to be a part of it or not.
Well, I can't imagine. I mean, I've only had the job applications out for a couple days now. So I would think I would maybe get an interview from one of the places. Or maybe they'll skip me altogether because, I mean, yeah, I have retail experience, but I've also been a paralegal for the last 9 years. So they might be like, yeah, no.
So, yep, that was this week. Tune in next week, or don't. I don't know. Check out our description where we have links to the book that we discussed, which was Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone, to the recipe, the specific recipe that we use for cashew chicken. You can find that on our description as well. And you can also find links to our socials, specifically our Facebook, which you can also find the links to those things.
Probably should add the Billboard Top 100 link.
All right, we can add the link to the Billboard Top 10. 100.
Well, it's the top 100.
You're just choosing the top 10.
I only looked at the top 10
of the week. And then you can also email us, waitdidyouhearpod@gmail.com, if you have suggestions on what we should talk about, some weird things that you saw in the week that you wanted us to talk about, some recipes that you want us to make, leave that all in the Gmail. So you can all check out all of those links in our description. Remember to follow us, share the pod with your friends, review it, and we'll catch you next week. Peace out.
Bye.